Welcome to the Bombadcast.
We're here.
What's up?
This
What's
is
up,
it.
everybody?
I can't believe it, Jerry. Your dream is finally coming true. Your very own Ghostbusters podcast, buddy.
It's finally coming to fruition.
Look,
Woo!
the marketing.
You guys
on it.
are not going to be prepared
Mm-mm.
for the amount of cringe that you are about to endure. Oh my God. It's going to be so much. Look, we've got a containment unit full of just absolutely bonkers batshit content coming your way about Ghostbusters and everything to do with Ghostbusters
Oh,
that
yeah.
you've all been clamoring for years. We've heard it. I walk into the room, I hear people, I heard him say it. They want the Ghostbusters stuff. They want it. I said they want the people want the Ghostbusters stuff.
I'm elated because of one thing alone. We have a whole month, everything scheduled out already for this. And so I'm
Yes,
going to
we
give
do.
you a tease. And for those that might not be excited, I'm sorry, but we're stoked because I've always wanted to talk about Ghostbusters ad nauseum. Always.
Have fun with us. Like just come and like enjoy basking in the presence and stuff, because I think you might find a little enjoyment out of it.
And you will hear some Dune squeezed in, not today, but throughout our future episodes of this, plugged in somewhere.
We're gonna squeeze that Dune right out.
So I'll read the dates and everything. February 27th, we have a pod dropping Ghostbusters 1. We're gonna talk about the first movie. February 29th, Ghostbusters 2. It's gonna be a live show. We talk about Ghostbusters 2. March 5th, a music discussion on Ghostbusters. March 7th, expanded and lost media on Ghostbusters, which is our bread and butter. Then we've got Ghostbusters 2016 on March 12th, which is going to be the all-female led version of the Ghostbusters, which I've never seen. I'm going to watch it with Jerry. We may even do a Patreon thing with that. On Pi Day 3/14, Ghostbusters game. It's a live show. We're going to talk about and watch footage from the Ghostbusters game, maybe even some cinematics. On 3/19, Ghostbusters Afterlife on the podcast review. And then, of course, all leading up to the ultimate episode, 3/21, Frozen Empire review directly after leaving the movie theater. And then maybe some stuff after that as well. So
that's right.
I can't wait.
Right. Yes.
8 things.
Pull up the graphic again real quick for this, because we have our logo. We have our logo there, made by the venerable Scotty J-Ro. I love him to death. Look at this. The Bombadcast Ecto Countdown. Thank you. Good night. It's going to be great. It's starting now. Starting now. So get ready to be absolutely just plastered to a wall with green ectoplasm. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't wait.
It's like cum. It's like cum. But anyway.
It's Slimer's slime.
Not really.
No,
really.
I'm super excited.
It's just slime.
We're doing this because there has not been. Let's see it. There has not been a better opportunity. Look at him.
Look. Oh, he's not doing his thing.
So good.
Anyway,
there has not been a better time to cover this, because during we were I wasn't weary on Afterlife. I just didn't know what to expect with Afterlife. And then he's still going. I think it's going to be great to cover it here and talk about this and really get into the nitty-gritty of Ghostbusters, because it means a lot to you and it means a lot to me. And Jerry has some takes. Slimer's just going crazy in the background. By the way,
I'm not touching him anymore. He'll fall asleep in a sec. There you go. He's asleep. He's asleep.
Good. Okay, I was worried.
Yeah.
So today's agenda, we're gonna watch 2 trailers. We're gonna watch the Frozen Empire most recent trailer, which came out like, what was it, like 4 or 5 days ago? Like super recent.
Recording, it was Monday of this week. So by the time you listen to this, it's about a week or so ago.
Yes.
But yeah, no, very soon. So we got our first full trailer, and then also, unbeknownst to everyone, they randomly dropped the international trailer, and international trailers are hit or miss. Like sometimes it'll be like, oh, we added a couple extra scenes. This is a completely different trailer that they dropped. So you basically got 2 trailers on the same day, which was absolutely it's insane. I never thought I'd ever see this day come to fruition.
It's a good way to kick this off, because for me, I'm very excited. I love both movies growing up as a kid. I have them both on Blu-ray. I have them on digital. I love them. I love
They're
watching.
great.
They're good comfort movies for me. That Katie loves them too. And the reason I'm saying all that is because I am not what you are for that. I am not. I have a love for it, but I did not grow
Right.
during the hype of all this. And Jerry wanted to address some things at the top of the show about why are they making Ghostbusters a franchise all of a sudden. And
Right.
we'll talk about that as we progress through these coming weeks of nothing but Ghostbusters coverage. But if you want to say something right now, I just think it's an important to address.
Just the reason why we're kind of talking about this, and I've seen a few people out there be like, I mean, why are they trying to make this into something? It was two comedies or something that in the 80s that came out. They were fine and things like that. And what you don't remember, child, I was born in 1987 into a world where there were Ghostbusters. There was already one Ghostbusters movie. There was one coming very soon after I was born. There were Ghostbusters breakfast cereal, Ghostbusters clothes, Ghostbusters toys, Ghostbusters juice, Ghostbusters toys, Ghostbusters toys, Ghostbusters toys. It was everywhere you looked.
Yeah.
I had no choice but to be a Ghostbusters fan. It was everywhere. It was
even now. You can buy
we're watching the show.
You can buy the reissue figures. Yeah,
you can buy the reissue figures. There's always been one of the T-shirts that always exists in a Target is a Ghostbusters T-shirt of some kind. There's been more over the recent years, like especially 2016, kind of reawakened a little bit of that in people, but Ghostbusters has kind of always been around. It's kind of been, it's taken a back seat and everything. It's had two cartoon series made about it. Yeah. It is honestly one of those cartoons. The first cartoon ended up having a spinoff that started for like one season.
Yeah.
That didn't last. But I'm telling you, it's had we've had games, toys. There was like you said, the video game we're going to be talking about, which is essentially what we thought was the last thing we were going to get, was the third. It was basically the third movie written by Harold and Dan, maybe Ivan. I think it's written by Harold and Dan for sure, and starred all the original cast, set in 1991, all voices. And then there was a IDW comic series that went on for a while, for years after that. We've got Dark Horse Comics coming again. So this has been in the zeitgeist and everything like that, and it doesn't hit for everybody. And why are they making them superheroes? Because the Ghostbusters, those who have done the Bombad bod, as we've called it, is also the Ghostbuster bod. And we need schlubby superheroes too. We need superheroes that look like us. And are the Ghostbusters superheroes? No, but also they kind of are.
Yeah.
They're people who save the world in their movies.
This trailer makes me feel like I'm watching a superhero movie. So I would say they are. And one thing too, I think it's very important to address, and I say that often when we do a podcast, but you watch this and you got to think there is a huge history of this. Most of these actors and writers all wrote for the original cast of SNL in or they were themselves the original cast of SNL in 1975. So you've got 50 years of a legacy coming up. I mean, like, you've got these actors, these people in 2025 had been working together for 50 years. And that's just mind blowing. And like, I don't know, to me, that says something about the importance of creation and sticking to what you do. And we know Dan Aykroyd's a huge paranormal person, always has been. So like
well, I mean, not even his whole family, even like his legacy is basically the Aykroyds are basically the Van Helsings of the real world. So
I'm so excited to talk about this with you, and I think it's important that we watch this trailer, and we're just going to watch it through. For our audio listeners, you're going to be listening to us watch it. We're not going to talk over it more than likely. We will go back and scrub through it and talk about a few things, the things we're excited for.
Scotty won't talk over it. I might talk over it because I'm
Yes.
bad at talking over things. So
even me. So let's get this trailer pulled up and let's have some hype. I just love the idea of them all having their own uniforms, by the way. That's my favorite little thing. So let's check this out. Here we go.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
It's all dark and horny at 12
our little
o'clock.
preview.
I've been waiting 40 years for this. They called themselves Ghostbusters.
Incredible.
According to these hacks, they saved the world. No eyewitnesses. And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler. You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
Has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished.
Right. Well, overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
Every time.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
This cast,
What is
man.
it?
Better question is, what's inside of it?
The parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. With the power to kill by fear itself.
Like, literally scared to death?
We might be looking at our second ice age.
Incredible.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Can I be of any help?
That
Melnitz in uniform. Yeah.
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, what are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else? What? Buster makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
Heads up. It's all dark and horny at 12 o'clock.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, I just love that it's so practical. Like the ghosts in the library.
There's a lot of practical effects in it, and which harkens back again to the original and everything like that, you know. And I mean, just the library ghost being the first ghost that they encounter, and we don't. I don't know if they'll use the name they came up with in the third game or anything like that. They gave her a name in that game and everything, like a whole backstory.
Oh, okay.
Eleanor Tweedy, everything like that. But interesting to have the library ghost back and have Ray be clearly dealing with her, things like that. There's so much where, you know, like, so to start at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah.
You have the voiceover by one Mr. Dickless himself, Walter Peck, which is just, I mean, these shots of the Ecto. I love the new paint job on the Ecto. It's not too far off from the original.
I just love the cut
But to have like
between them and the ride.
Yeah, you have the Spenglers cutting into the shot of Ray and Winston kind of having that, which honestly, that's a great scene in that original movie too.
It is.
I got to be careful because I'm just going to talk about everything.
Because they talk about revelations in that scene, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He talks about, do you believe in God and everything. It's the whole. That's why they're like, oh, Ghostbusters is a comedy. Yeah, but I mean, it's got like these real sincere and also kind of creepy moments and stuff. You know, so what if the reason why we're so busy is the dead have been rising from the grave, and stuff is like such a, and then they get creeped out and turn on the radio.
Exactly. That's what we do.
It's real, and I love this world. But yeah, we've got Walter Peck, who was the EPA agent, talking with them, and is either the mayor or some
Leader.
high up position, because he's
Jerry,
they're in
is it
some
the
kind
s-
of nice office.
Is it the same office from the first one? Because it almost looks like it could be.
It looks like it could. So it is definitely this is supposed to take you back to the first two movies where they are brought to the mayor, basically.
Yes.
Both times they're like basically escorted by cops to the mayor.
Yeah.
Which is I love that that's like a trope with Ghostbusters, is your main characters always get arrested.
Of course.
Because Ghostbusters fight against the grain, my man. That's what I gotta say. Always fighting the power. But I don't know that it is the same office, but it is a very mayoral office.
The framing of these shots, though, are just so good. And who's the young lady that
It's really
plays
good.
what's her name again?
Phoebe?
Yeah, who plays Phoebe? Because she's such
It's McKenna Grace.
McKenna Grace literally delivers the same attitude and, like, I guess you could say posture as Spengler. I mean, it's like,
Yeah. Well, she's like, yeah, I love that she's got like that, the monotone you're talking about and
Yes.
everything like that.
the
Yeah.
hair, the
She's got the
vibes,
real-
the stance. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that stance. Oh,
It's so she's Egon.
Yeah,
she
she
is
literally is
Egon in
Egon.
these new ones,
Yep.
essentially, at least in spirit. I also love you've got the interaction with, so we've never seen really Gary Gruberson, who I'm assuming is, I don't know if they're married or just dating in this one, because this
you're
is
right.
supposed
You're
to be
right.
this is a few years after Afterlife, where they have their kind of first meeting.
Yeah.
You
he's
haven't we
like-
haven't seen him talking with Trevor or
Mhm.
hanging. He really had more to do with Phoebe and the mom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Callie Spengler.
Question,
And
Jerry.
so
Do they always have
Yeah.
elbow pads, or is that a new thing for this movie?
oh yeah. No,
yeah.
pads is a big thing. That's what yeah. No, but I love the interaction between him and, like, where he's like, Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. He's like, oh, overruled.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Sustained from the back is so fucking funny to me
Yeah.
that they don't give a shit. It's
No.
like sustained. And that's like the Ghostbusters kind of attitude, right?
Yep.
Like anytime they're in like those like situations, like they're always like, like, oh, you gonna believe us or Dickless over here?
Exactly. It's like
Kind of a
you don't take what I do seriously, so I'm not gonna take what you do seriously. Because that's
Right.
I,
It's, we're trying to save the world.
yes, and you are in the way of it. And you know what's funny too? Watching this and knowing this was coming, I did not realize how much our legacy characters would be involved with this story, because they really weren't involved. I mean, Dan Aykroyd was involved with the phone call and Afterlife and the ending scene where he shows up. And of course, that's about it. This, however, I mean, this is like Force Awakens level. They're all back. You know what I mean? And I'm hopefully done better than Jurassic World or Jurassic Dominion. That's my only caveat, is like, it has to be better than that.
I feel like, so this is essentially it's a what do you call it? Oh man, I forget words at the right time. It's only when we're recording a podcast. It's a huge cast. I'm trying to think of the right word. Anyway, let me see if I've got these images here.
Well, even Annie Potts coming back, dude. Like that was not expected for me.
Back.
He was an Afterlife, but not.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So there was something like this, old cast, new cast, that happened in the Ghostbusters or Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon, where the real Ghostbusters came, and there was a two-parter. It's called Back in the Saddle.
Yeah.
And they team up and fight together by the end of it. And here is a shot from that episode.
Oh, wow.
Of all of them together.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here is a shot from the international trailer.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back and forth.
So isn't it crazy how, because you've got the Ecto behind them in both shots.
Oh, this is actually really cool. God, look at all of them. You've got how many? 1, 2, 3. Go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Podcast does not have the gear on, but safe to assume
I think
still
he
part
has,
of the crew.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Annie Potts having
there's apparently
Or
go ahead. Go
Janine.
ahead.
I'm sorry, Janine having the outfit on is very satisfying. Because have we ever seen Janine in a Ghostbusters
satisfying.
outfit? I don't think so, right?
In the cartoons. In the cartoons,
Oh, okay,
we've
okay.
seen her. But which that's why it's a huge thing. People are like, "Oh my god, it's just like it's," because they're saying they've been very inspired by the cartoons, by the real Ghostbusters and things. Just the batshit off the wall scenarios and putting these characters kind of in that. There is, by the way, apparently there's an extra character in those shots at the end. We don't know who it is yet. It's like a blurry person diving out of the way. When the ghost shows up at the end, Garaka is the main antagonist there.
Do you
So
think it's Sigourney Weaver?
we
Do you
don't know.
think it could be
I've got to look at the screenshots. Everyone that I've listened to is talking about how it looks like it's someone in like old, like timey armor. So there might be like even more crazy weirdness going on. But no, so we're talking about having the old cast and everything and not wanting it to be, kind of like cheap and throw away. And I feel like the way they're doing this, where they've got, it's different teams.
Yeah.
You got the Ray's occult side of things where
Yeah.
he's buying these cursed artifacts from people. You've got the firehouse, right, where like the main team is, and then you've got, and we're gonna learn this in these trailers, you've got this the R&D, the Paranormal Research Center, where they're also working. I think that's what's gonna make it work. Is that kind of,
and that's
we're
the
all
research
spread out
center.
doing different things. It's like Stranger Things, which I know people are like, everyone's trying to copy Stranger Things, but the way Stranger Things has the different stories for the different characters is how that makes it work. Right.
Of course. And it makes it so much more effective that way. And
yeah,
I love that the object of interest in this film obviously is holding some sort of deity, which has been, is that different compared to everything else? I think it's different. And look, it's trying to open.
It's different compared to the movies, right? Oh, I didn't even see. I haven't even noticed the
it's like
that
opening
yet.
or closing. Or
The numbers opening.
Maybe he's trying to keep it closed. I don't know, but grabbing it is what obviously
something like that.
Yeah, causes a sweet little hand to freeze. And that's a new character, right? That's someone I didn't.
Yes. So this is James Acaster, a British comedian, and the character he plays is Lars Pinfield.
Okay.
And Lars Pinfield is supposed to be, according to the articles and everything, it's basically the Egon type.
Oh,
he's like another brilliant mind, because Egon was the one who kind of made all of the gadgets.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like they all kind of worked on them together, but Egon was like the genesis for a lot of the tech.
Yeah.
This is the new guy who's developing the tech, which is why he's research and development guy.
See, I love when they do this kind of faux, like historical evidence, stuff. Like it looks like a Sumerian god,
ancient
or something.
Carvings.
Yeah, I think. I love that.
Stuff.
I love that because it to me it sells it. As a kid, I would go look this up after. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Was that
well?
real?
He even says, like, he even uses the term parables. The parables tell of an unimaginable evil.
Yeah.
And that's a great phrasing of that.
This is an interesting deity because from what we know, and he's putting on his horns right here. So what are we thinking this is?
He grabs them from there.
Yeah.
So it's some kind of shrine or something.
What do you think is going on?
Well, I think that, again, somehow he is released, is what we're led to believe, and they find their horns and reattach them for something. Maybe the horns is what gives it its power or something, and someone removed them so he couldn't return or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just have to say real quick too, I'm so excited for this cast. When you got a lot of people, like, again, complaining about this stuff being too serious, when this is a movie with Paul Rudd, Patton Oswalt, and Kumail Nanjiani, who are all so hilarious in their own right. Okay, this little scene here as well looks like it takes place. It looks like it's back in like the early 1900s.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because it's candles that have recently gone out. You can see, and then also you've got people in the background. Looks like they're dressed up. You got a fellow with either a cane or a weird mustache, and this fireman outfit is obviously old.
That's an old
Look
school
at the hat.
fireman's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like old school, old school.
Yeah. And then you got a modern day shot where you can see like people's with their tennis shoes, the Nikes right there on the right. So like obviously this is a really convincing trailer to blend two different ideas that we could get some sort of origin story for. What's his name again, Jerry? Orok? Or
Garaka.
Garaka. And like
Garaka is our bad guy here. With his horns straightening out.
yeah, it's so weird.
Creepy as hell.
So creepy. And I love that it's a winter storm coming through New York in the middle of summer. Love that. I love plots that mess with the, this, because this to me now, and this is one of those universal themes that I love. It's like A Nightmare Before Christmas. You've now got a movie that's coming out in March that gives creepy vibes, but also is turning the city into like a wintry area. So like that's
right.
You've got multiple things you can celebrate here. You know what I mean?
Right. Which I mean, this was originally slated to release in December.
Yes.
Of 2023 as well. So, and also it's a perversion of nature, right? You've got like the snow when you're not supposed to have it and everything like that. Okay, this is exciting for any Ghostbusters fan because that means they've got a new vehicle. It's some kind of van.
Oh yeah, look at that. You're right.
With the logo on the back, they open it up and it's got like just a shit ton of proton packs in it.
Another thing
exciting because it's always ever just been Ecto. It's been Ecto 1.
I love the idea of it snowing right here. You know what I mean? And I wonder where we get I just wonder where Vickman's at. You know what I mean? Like I wonder why he isn't fully involved, and looks like he's just showing up in this shot. And he might not be. You never know. But I love that it's snowing in the background, and you can see that you've got. I'm sorry, I'm falling apart. You've got Janine right there in the outfit. I mean, I don't know. It's cool. I love this.
Right.
And I wonder, does this mean we're gonna get Rick? Do you think we're gonna get Rick Moranis back in any way?
So they've said that there are still surprises and stuff in store. It would be it's a long shot, I think.
Yeah.
I am holding out hope because he has done that one like Mint Mobile commercial.
Oh
with
yeah.
Ryan Riddle. But I love that you've got Janine in the uniform, but you've also got, if you could go back a little bit there, and I know like for our audio listeners, Janine's got a new piece of tech, which is essentially like an arm cannon.
Yeah.
Or so it's essentially probably like the Neutrino wand is what they call the part that shoots, but like a wrist blaster version of that. I don't know. It's something interesting that she's got. That's just a new. I love. So what you probably had complaints of before, and what I wanted them to do with this movie is to expand the world, to do different things than we've done, because the first two movies are kind of really very cookie cutter. They're very like the same. But then you know, Afterlife did some interesting things, but it was still kind of like the old guard, like the old kind of stuff. Here we've got a chance to have brand new technology, brand new stuff coming through, and it's just I'm so excited to see,
of course,
what they come up with, because you've got all these right there. We've got what I'm guessing is a proton pack with the back removed, so you can see the cyclotron in the back.
Oh, that's cool, because you've always heard it. We've always heard it go. We've always heard it power up, but to see it actually in motion is going to be. And you probably couldn't do that in the 80s. So, but when you do it now is incredible. Speaking of 80s,
right?
Amazing, as Spielberg said, one of the greatest jump scares in all of movie history was Ghostbusters, and this is ILM through and through. I wonder if ILM worked on this. I would love to know if they did.
Oh, definitely, because ILM worked on the first.
Okay,
right? You know,
that would make sense.
That was one of the movies that they worked on. Yeah,
oh.
And I mean that's definitely practical, definitely a practical puppet kind of in there, but with CG enhancements and everything, and it looks so good.
You're gonna love me for this.
This is the library ghost for our audio listeners as well.
This is the shot that gave me chills. Like the whole trailer was great, but seeing her again, I was like, oh my god, this is such a return to form now, especially this. You know what I mean? Like, this is so ideal. I love this character. But yeah, seeing her show up is incredible. I love seeing
Seeing her go after Ray.
yeah, seeing her go after Ray again is amazing. And like, you know, they're in the library, obviously. I just want to know, that's what I love about these movies. How do they end up where they're ending up? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why are they back there?
Well, someone was saying too is that I was listening to today. A lot of the movies, the characters are at the right place at the right time most of the time here, and so it's interesting the way they end up where they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you got him at the library here. I wonder if this Patton Oswalt's character, Dr. Hubert Wartsky. I love Ghostbusters names.
Me too.
They're so like real world, but they're just also like kind of off the wall and crazy.
Exactly.
But you've got, let's see, so Patton Oswalt's character, it looks like he might work at the library. We don't know, but he works with Ray, is what it seems like. But you've got that shot later of him and Ray by the lion, which is the lions outside of that library.
That gave me chills because isn't that the intro to the first movie? Isn't the lion?
First movie? It's the first shot. It settles on that lion out at the front, which
So
I caught at the beginning. The first trailer they had that in.
Oh, yeah.
Janine, what do you want? Ghostbusters, what do you want? Which again, just a classic callback.
Oh man,
this is so they put this on the teaser for the trailer the day before, and I mean I was laughing my ass off, just listening to Paul Rudd go, "Busta makes me feel good," because everyone's kind of been making fun of that recently with like PlayStation put the "Busta makes me feel good" on an ad or something, and people were like, "What?"
Yeah, this is pretty incredible.
It's pretty great.
As a big Ghostbusters fan, like the first one, because I love the first one, to see this come to life is pretty incredible. It's just, and I wonder what's causing that to come to life, because you got to think, and as much as we have this new protagonist, antagonist, which you're excited for, there's something to say the library is haunted makes sense, but the statues, there have never been allusions to these statues being haunted, right?
Right.
So I just
and so you get little breadcrumbs here and there, and what my speculation is that because of the presence of Garaka's object, even if he's not out. I mean, look at like Ghostbusters 2. You got Vigo working on things inside of the painting.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like you always what I love about the Ghostbusters films is it's a ramp up to this big battle. It's this things are starting to get extra weird.
Yeah.
They've already been weird, but they're starting to get extra weird. So maybe you're going to have like, things are going a little crazy, a little crazier than usual here.
So that's another thing too. When it comes to this new villain, how are they going to stop this villain if they cannot capture it, with the proton beams? Like I love that what was her name again, Jerry, from the first one? I forget.
That's Lucky.
Lucky.
That's Lucky, the love interest of Finn Wolfhard's character, Trevor.
Yes.
So what's cool about them saying that they are very excited about working or they got a lot of inspiration from the real Ghostbusters is they had a different way to bust a ghost every episode. Basically, part of the end of the episode is them having to MacGyver their way, and sometimes they just catch the ghost.
Yeah,
but they always have to figure out the right way to do it.
Yeah.
It's always like kind of a MacGyver, and sometimes it's a MacGyver-y thing of like we got to build this new thing that helps us.
Yeah,
because it won't be caught by the regular thing. We got to catch it in this thing. We got to do this. If we do this, it'll banish it. One episode they fight the boogeyman, and he's not an actual ghost, so they have to like close the portal to his world forever.
Oh, okay.
And so it depends on what Garaka's weakness is. That's also a good thing about Ghostbusters is they're kind of mysteries as well. We're trying to figure out how are we going to defeat this evil thing.
Evil, of course.
Yeah. Which you've got, like the first Ghostbusters, they don't even catch Gozer, right? Like they close her door and destroy that gate.
Banish her, yeah.
And then we end up having her coming back in Afterlife and everything. Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm excited to see because it's new territory. It's new territory. We haven't touched this yet. It's not anything to do with any of the past villains. It's a brand new threat. And it looks so good. And you can see, actually, I'm just noticing there, no horns.
No horns. You're right. Good point. So the power is not in the horns, evidently.
So, well, and I mean, I feel like that's where he gets his, maybe that's how he commands. He's able to command the ghosts. So,
yeah.
honestly, this is so real Ghostbusters. It's insane. And again, I'm not saying you have to watch that show to get this, but what I'm saying is it's going to be a crazy premise. It's going to be these different like pieces that fit together into, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, you know?
Well, I also like that with bringing these classic characters back, they'll be able to tell some lore that could be from both the TV show and the game. And you mentioned that earlier in our discussion before we started recording, like they could very well mention that other member of the Ghostbusters that just was there for that, for the video game.
Right, for the game.
Yeah, for the game.
Which, in the comics that they the game is
because doesn't the
canon, they talk about how they don't remember that guy's name.
Doesn't the Stay Puffed Marshmallow make a reappearance in the game? Am I crazy? Or
yes,
there's a big entity. Yeah, that's what I thought. But like, now you got the mini puffs. But I love this because we've got Venkman with the glasses on. I just think it's a cool shot. There needs to be a reason why, though. There's got to be. I think.
Yeah.
Unless it's just for humor, but I don't think it is.
I mean, it's Venkman, and honestly, Bill, and he was Venkman in the last one. It's fine. Like, but I mean, he feels like he's actually in it here. He's not phoning it in.
No,
in this. Not that he was in the last one, but this feels. I heard someone say this is the most Bill Murray I've seen Bill Murray in a long time.
Yes, probably since Zombieland.
In this trailer, like when he goes, "Oh, Melnick's in uniform." That's pitch perfect. When he says, "Hey, heads up, tall, dark, and horny." 12 o'clock. That's 100% Venkman. The sunglasses is just that's what he does. He shows up and he makes wisecracks and still kicks ass.
Do you think Goraka is going to speak a audible language, kind of like Gozer, or no?
I believe so. I think we're going to get some shit talk from Goraka.
Look at that face. You can see it here.
You got to have we've had Gozer coming and being like, talking about choose the form, all that kind of stuff. You got the I love the talks that the villains always have because they're always these super powered godlike entities that are just like, you pitiful mortal thing like that. I can't wait to hear what this thing sounds
Me
like.
too. And Jerry, I just noticed what you were talking about earlier. The armored person on the far left of the frame running out of the shot.
Right there. There's like an armored person like kind of diving out of the way.
It's like reflective
I heard of
armor.
someone was also saying that Podcast is holding a hammer or something in here.
Oh, maybe.
Which is weird. Like a big hammer.
It's
so
just interesting. I love
Is
this.
there a time travel element to this movie that we don't know or something,
Do you think this,
or maybe it's not time travel, maybe it's ghosts from a certain era or something?
Yeah, that would be awesome too. I would love that. The last people that were frozen, maybe. Like one thing I want to ask you too, do you think this fish creature is Goraka's calling sign, maybe? Like I'm gonna send this thing first to scout out the area, because there's been a ton of this creature in the promotional material, a ton.
So I think what they're doing with that is this kind of like a Slimer and what do you call him, a Muncher from the last one. Is so spoilers. What you do know from the article that came out in Empire recently, that this is the opening sequence with the first time you see the Ghostbusters in the movie. They're chasing this thing called the sewer dragon.
Okay,
so I think this is just kind of showing you now it could connect back towards the end, but I think this is just going to be like the big opening sequence to go like, hey, they're here, they're back in New York, they're busting ghosts.
Yeah. Okay.
New York.
So that is
very cool.
Very cool. We get a better shot in the international trailer, which you're going to watch in just a second. Oh, Slimer being back thrills me.
Slimer looks incredible. Slimer looks more like he did in 1984.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've noticed this week, Slimer has had several different looks. From even Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2, the look changed. They tried to make him more like the cartoon in Ghostbusters 2. And then in Answer the Call, it's a completely different, like, I think they tried to go for a more old school look, but he was completely CG. This, you can tell there's a little bit more of, at least when it's coming out of the pile, there's more of a practical nature to him.
Yeah, definitely.
He also, I love when he's flying at Trevor there, he's got Cheeto dust on his,
does
on
he?
his face. If you notice, watch
Oh my God, that's incredible. Also based on Jim Belushi, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't that the
yeah, look, he looks just like Jim Belushi. Look at him.
That
No.
awful.
I love that.
Fucked
I
up.
love that was like, because I imagine that Jim would think that was funny.
Yeah.
Because Jim and Dan were really good friends,
Yeah.
right? So like, it's almost like if me and you, like, one of us died, we made like a movie with like a really ugly puppet, just as an
Called
homage
him-
or something to the other one.
to Jerry.
Yeah. Shitty.
So let's watch this international trailer now. Hold on.
Yes, let's get into it. We're 40 minutes in here and everything, so I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But like, there's really cool stuff in this one about
Sony Pictures India, I'm pretty sure.
If you go to Ghostbusters News, now they're not a friend of the show, but I know on Twitter they have versions of them that are like very well. Okay, there you go.
Here we go. Let's do it. This one, Jerry, prep the audience for this one. So for our audio listeners or our video listeners, our video viewers, why is this important? You know what I mean?
The international trailer. So what's cool about these two trailers is you've got the first one that's kind of like, hey, the Ghostbusters are back, and it's almost like a trailer that shows the action, the comedy kind of things. This is kind of more of a story driven trailer. Right here. This gives a little more of the plot, I feel like. And it honestly it adds a little more weight to the things that are happening.
So I think this is the better trailer for a expanded audience, but the other one pulled on my heartstrings being a big Ghostbusters fan. So if I were to sell it, I would sell it with the more emotional one, whereas this one you're kind of like, oh, we're really doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So we can
I agree. And I've heard a lot of people have been saying that recently over the past couple of days talking about this. Anyway, let's take a look at this baby.
We've all had experiences and encounters with the unknown and the unexplainable. Here, we pay top dollar for your possessed possessions. Now this is very, very interesting.
Have it for 40.
I've never seen anything like this at all.
60.
That's the funniest thing, man.
All over New York City, ghost attacks are on the rise.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
And we are the only ones equipped to fight back. Welcome to the new Paranormal Research Center.
You just let ghosts hang out in here?
We've spent 40 years trapping them. Now we can study them.
He's cute. Ever since you brought in this orb, strange things have been occurring. You think it's commanding you of the spirits?
Is something trying to get out?
First time we're hearing James Academy.
Could be looking at a full-bore army of ghosts with the power to kill by fear itself.
Like literally scared to death?
That's messed up.
So what is the plan?
We're the Ghostbusters. We stay and fight for this place.
Suit up. Shoot anything that looks terrifying.
That orb is prophesizing to bring about the end of humankind.
The second ice age.
Chills, man. Literally. Then we get the same stinger here.
Yeah. So it's April 19th around the world, which is that's in India.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's simultaneous release for most places, but India, I've heard Spain is that as well, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I like that trailer more. I think it's more dramatic. I think it actually makes it's got humor, don't get me wrong, but it definitely has a little bit more of a serious feel.
Yeah, but Scott, why are they trying to make superheroes out of a comedy?
Oh my god.
Anyway, so you've got look right off the bat, the creepy tricycle going on its own. So what this says to me is there's going to be a classic like montage of things going shitty.
Yes.
Like in the old movies, which I love. In the first two movies, you have the big montages of ghosts are taking over.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's crazy. And I always love that. So I feel like we're going to get a little more of that.
Yeah, this too is interesting. You talked about this. Jerry and I recorded something the other night, and we talked about a few things, and this in particular is one of the ones we talked about. How do you feel about this? This
so
is interesting.
what those audio listeners, it's a shot of Phoebe sitting at like it looks like one of those Central Park chess tables, right? And she's playing chess against so Afterlife, Egon's spirit plays chess with her the whole movie. So it looks like, and they've said Egon's not in this movie.
Yeah.
They might just mean the physical manifestation of his spirit. I wouldn't mind a scene where she's kind of like having a little honestly, I would bawl my eyes out if she just gets to have weekly little powwows with her dead grandfather. Can you imagine? I'm not going to be well.
No, not at all.
So maybe she goes for like a little advice or something, and she gets a little advice, almost like Force Ghost,
Yeah.
I honestly, it doesn't seem. It's hard to tell because you feel like how much of this movie is going to be frozen, stuff. Is it going to be just towards the end, or it's I don't know. It's so exciting. It's so exciting to see this.
So Ray's occult books, was that something established? Was that in Ghostbusters?
That's in Ghostbusters 2.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Ghostbusters
but I
2,
love,
yeah.
Read it. There's a live music. Ray's occult books. Friday.
Everyone's been talking about that. Like, what kind of live music is Ray?
It's got to be weird experimental synthesizer
or
music.
like Blues Brothers.
Yes,
Blues
or
Brothers
yes. I hope we get an
if
answer.
if they have an homage to the Blues Brothers in this, that would be so fantastic.
That'd
too.
be incredible. Yeah, I love Kumail's obviously sense of humor in this. He always delivers.
Right.
But Kumail
is the one I'm most excited. He was the comedic actor I was most excited to get in this.
Oh, look what he's
I mean,
using.
I love Patton as well.
I did not realize.
Oh yeah, he's got the PKE meter, and when he tries to use it, things go wrong. I also love the line of people going into Ray's, like he's talking about, we'll buy your possessed possessions.
Yeah.
The line of people looks like, I mean, just weirdo characters from the background of a real Ghostbusters episode.
Look at them.
Just look at those. Look at those New York weirdos. They look so good. I love them. Someone said it looks like Doc Brown's in the background.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It looks just like
Christopher Lloyd back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Is great delivery where he's like, I have it for 40. And he like starts saying like, oh, I've never seen this. 60.
So it does freeze the tops of his storefront. I guess you could say the glass that everything's stored behind. Let's see. Sony, gotta love Sony. Made Morbius.
100 years of Columbia.
Now I love this. I love that. Oops, sorry. My thing was freezing up. I love that we get Winston as the actual like spokesperson. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you got
to go from the guy who was just trying to get a job, right?
Podcast definitely has a uniform on in that shot, Jerry. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Oh man, my boy Podcast is absolutely going to be busting some ghosts, man.
Wow, and she's got an orange one on. This is interesting.
She's got her coat, that Ghostbusters parka that they are going to be so popular now.
Oh, I hope
Ghostbusters
so.
fans.
Oh man, this is
Ghostbusters. What do you want? So anytime there's a shot of Ecto 1 leaving the firehouse is a core memory for me. Like it brings up core memories for me.
Is it really?
Like my earliest memories are just watching the Ecto 1 pull out of the firehouse.
Oh,
in
the
cartoon mainly.
Yeah, but still.
But just like, I mean, they always give me chills. It's like we're going out on a call. You know?
Yeah, it's I just love how much this movie is going to pay homage to what came before, but also establishing things that are new. Like, what is this little weird area they're going to in here? This has got to be
that is
the lab.
That is the lab. That's the he calls it the Paranormal Research Center. Welcome to the new Paranormal Research Center. And if you look at it, it's old defunct technology.
I was going to say that's a Mac. That's an old Mac.
But what I love about that is with paranormal investigation, most of the time you get better results with analog technology.
Yes. Yes.
And so I love that is, and your mileage may vary. I'm not talking about if it's real or not. I'm just saying they do their research. They know what they're doing. And it feels more Ghostbusters to have it be a little like, oh, we got old school stuff. We got the cast off stuff nobody wants.
Yeah,
We
of
got
course.
mini puff back. So in here, they're saying you let ghosts just walk or run around in here, and they've got mini puffs apparently.
Look at one of
walking around. You got ones. You see the ones swimming in the slime.
So
there.
good.
Jars of slime as well, which is a great Ghostbusters thing. Just like sitting around.
I wonder, do you think that red slime, Jerry, is this from the Ghostbusters 2? Look, there's
it might be, yeah, might be some mood slime.
Yeah.
I would love if we get a mood. Well, from one of the shots from the not Vanity Fair, the Empire article, we know that they are going to be testing a slime blower and stuff.
Oh,
so I
really?
assume it's filled with psychoreactive slime.
Because
that's the good stuff that like unpossesses somebody.
Yes.
You know?
I love that
That's
they
how
have
you unpossess a person. You owes them.
the book in the corner is a flying saucer book. It says flying saucers.
Oh yeah. See, and that's what I love about these movies is it's full of Dan Aykroyd's love of the paranormal.
Of
and
course.
The paranormal is more than just ghosts. It's everything. And I love goes back to what they asked Winston. Do you believe in UFOs, the Loch Ness Monster, the theory of Atlantis?
Okay, so is he a
Astral projection.
producer in this? I don't know. Is Dan Aykroyd a producer for this movie?
Is Dan a producer? I'm not sure. I would assume.
Yeah.
Probably.
Look at this. They're so cute.
I know Gil Keenan and okay, so this shot I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
This everyone was like, "Oh, it's a giant containment unit," but it looks like it's several containment units.
Yeah, I think it's several.
And even within those, you've got it looks like there's like 4 different places to put a trap. He's putting it in one slot.
I could see it. Yeah.
So very cool. Very interesting. This feels that again. That's the real Ghostbusters had a fucking huge thing.
This is so.
We got this new little cute character.
So
Pukey is this
is that
thing's
really
name?
No way. Look
They've
at him.
released the name on it's on a Funko Pop. This thing got revealed to be Pukey, which he pukes at the glass. They always say it's always dumb, stupid names. Slimer, Muncher, Pukey.
Yeah, Jerry, I think you're on to the idea of them all being in separate places. I like that idea. And that the chaos all
I think
breaks.
it is. I think you got the different teams, and then they've got to figure out different. Maybe they're figuring out different parts of the mystery as it goes. You know.
Yeah, at this point, the door gets blown off by Goraka.
Well, I love also you've got the whatever's inside that thing. It's commanding of the ghosts, is what James Acaster's character Lars says. And then you've got was it Gary Paul Rudd asking. What's trying to get out a lot of things is what Phoebe says. And so I think this is going to be, which is why people are like, why are there so many of them? It's going to be kind of crazy. There's only supposed to be 4 guys. I think it's going to be a full on, there is an army that we have to catch. We have to catch this army of ghosts.
And I do like that this is clearly a different time. So this is not from the opening scene because look at the storm behind them. You can just tell the atmosphere also looks different. There's more people in the streets, but I love seeing them all suit up. And there's some scenes in this trailer that are exactly like the other trailer. Like these next couple are all from the other trailer, but there's a lot of different footage in this, like that dialogue right here.
It's a ton.
Yeah.
It's a ton.
This I think will be the ultimate scene. Like I don't think this is gonna happen.
This is like right before. This is like
real shit
third
goes
act.
down. Yeah, I'm convinced because no one else should be worried about this incident until it actually happens. Much like Ghostbusters 1, no one knows that there's actually ghosts except for the commercials that are on TV and the advertisements.
Right.
You know, but they're not really big threats until the third act. And I don't think they want to endanger so many people and have that be the whole plot, like everyone being cold in this shot, you know?
Right.
And then of course,
it's
dying.
like it's not going to be a complete day after tomorrow type thing, but it is going to be like again, like it's that slow ramp up, which is a classic Ghostbusters trope.
Yes, and this scene's interesting too because she's almost her arms are frozen and she's touching the pole. Maybe the brass pole doesn't freeze. I don't know. Maybe the fire, and look, get away from her is interesting. This is them in the lab.
That is such a powerful like get away from her. I
It
wonder like
is.
what's going because they're in the research center there.
Yeah, and Lucky's face.
And again, we've noticed that he doesn't have his excuse me,
horns.
Baraka, whoever they are, doesn't have the horns at that point.
Yeah, this is a crazy shot. This is the shot that actually got me kind of scared that we may see a death. But like you said, death isn't always. We told this during our Godzilla review. Death doesn't always mean it has like to be a good drama. Death does not have to happen, and I hope this movie doesn't rely on that. And if it's done well. But I don't think they're gonna kill anyone off because Harold's already dead. Like what would be the point of killing any of these older characters off?
You can have the stakes and everything. And honestly, in a Ghostbuster, if I keep going back to real Ghostbusters, but you have all this terrible shit happen to all these people, and then when they bust the ghost, it reverses everything.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a very simple fix, but to me, it works better with Ghostbusters, with ghosts, because it's like we put away this evil magic, and so now everything is righted.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So you could have something like that. Obviously, she's in the inn too. They're facing off against him. So someone gets her out of there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When we analyze trailers like this, we're not trying to spoil the movie for you. We're simply speculating on the fact that there are scenes in this that genuinely excite us. Like this, I never thought I'd see nine Ghostbusters all ready to fight, and they don't even have the Lucky does, but no one else has the red perka on. So maybe this is
and
I don't know.
One thing that they've mentioned, I forget if it was Dan mentioning it in the article or if he just mentioned it in a interview or something, but he's talking about how Ray has actually been sidelined by Winston because of his health in this movie.
Yeah.
So he spends most of the movie. Apparently, most of the movie is Ray has to kind of just be a consultant now. And you've got this final battle where it's all hands on deck. Ray has to come back in here.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's going to be an interesting arc. I think we're going to get a lot of drama in this as, I hope we get a little more insight into who Callie's mother was.
Yes.
Who Egon had the child with. What that situation was like, because it almost seems like maybe it was something that happened like years even before the first Ghostbusters film, just given the timeline and the age of Carrie Coon, or right around that time before they started the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And maybe like the mom didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah. That would make sense.
Maybe it's something like that. There could be, or, I would love to find out what is going on with that. It doesn't have to be that, but I would just love to get more information on their family background.
Of course.
This is the perfect time to explore that.
But I also think it's cool that whenever you get a story like this, you do have, unlike Star Wars, you do have some leeway. You have some room. You can wiggle. You know what I mean? Star Wars is pretty tight and concise. This is some wiggle
There's no
room.
tight canon with this. They can even say the game isn't canon anymore, and people probably wouldn't really care.
Yeah.
They're just Ghost. What I'm, and I've always been a Ghostbusters fan. I've never been involved in the fandom part of it until more recently. I've kind of been dipping my toes in.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're just happy to get another Ghostbusters movie.
Of course. That's how
like
I
Star
feel.
Wars fans. Well, and as Star Wars fans, we're so just we're spoiled.
We're excited,
spoiled
but
on
we're
how much
also
we have.
we're nitpicky, man. We don't.
Right.
There's a little bit of
not that Ghostbusters fans aren't either.
Sure,
everyone. They don't
everyone
have their
is.
side.
Yeah, everyone can be, but there's something about this that has a more inviting, warmer tone to it than the hyper analytical that it can be Star Wars. This is a great gateway into, like, this could be someone's first Ghostbusters movie without having to see anything that came previous, and it still needs to stay on its own. It still needs to, and most of these movies do. I've seen two a handful of times, and I love to, but I don't have to watch one to watch two. I really don't. There's nothing about it that is required. It's not like Star Wars where there's an arc of characters and a changing of characters, which of course these characters do go through change, but it's not quite as drastic in some franchises.
No, the most most drastic was the last one where you had
Yeah.
a full-on member of the team die, but that's
Died.
because the
Real
person who
person.
was
Yeah.
the real person had passed on, who was
Yeah.
part of this cast, and that was the best way they felt like to move forward.
It was perfect.
So it's and yeah, like this is I love to get neck deep in like the weirdness and the lore of this world. Absolutely. This is like my second favorite next to Star Wars.
Yeah.
But while you watch that trailer, it's gonna have the emotion for me because I grew up with it. Like you said, what we talked at the beginning. I grew up in that era where it was huge. It
Of
was like
course.
huge for kids my age.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of the second gen Ghostbusters. There was like a couple generations of Ghostbusters fans, like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And they are something special to me and to people like you too. These movies mean something to people, but they're fun.
They're fun.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's I showed my kiddo, I showed Ella this trailer. I was a little worried. I was like, should I? And I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna show it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought it was great. She wasn't scared at all. She was like, that's great, because it's just it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's something. And also what I love about Ghostbusters is the fact that it is something, it's inviting for kids. It's like that dipping your toe into horror.
Yes.
But it's kind of giving an outlet for kids. It's giving an outlet for kids to go, I don't have to be afraid of what's under my bed and stuff. Here's these guys who will come and will catch the mean thing that's trying to scare you and stuff. And like, I want to be like that. I want to be the guy who comes and like the person who comes and catches the thing.
Yeah.
And it makes it not scary because like they're going to catch it and put it away. They're going to send it away.
Do you have your proton pack? Don't you have one?
Yeah, I have right. Yeah, right back here.
Imagine if your sweet baby was having a little nightmare and you just got to walk in and be like, hold on. I got you, sweet. Let me stick this into the bed real quick.
She would love that. Honestly, yesterday, before I even showed her the trailer, she wanted to play Ghostbusters meets Pokemon.
Yes,
so she always wants to be the franchise meets her Pokemon.
That's
what we're on right now. We're doing everyone's least favorite Alien versus Predator movies in my home every day.
Man, Jerry,
but I love her. I love
how passionate you are about this series, and I love that you're able to articulate it so well. And you know, this is your comfort movies. This is what brings you joy. When Star Wars is not the thing that you need to see right now, it's always going to be Ghostbusters, and that makes me very happy.
Oh yeah,
because people don't have that. Some people only have one franchise that they can do and they can digest. But this is a very unique one. If I'm going to be honest, like this, and look, you can see the marketing. Again. This is legit. This is going to be a full like eight different bits of information of shows dealing with this, and we cannot wait.
Right,
I cannot wait to talk about it.
It's batshit insane as well, which is like what. Again, is why people go, why is this a thing?
Yep.
But unless you go and truly just kind of give yourself into I just want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to have fun. Maybe get spooked a couple of times, which may not even happen. Honestly,
no,
it may not happen in these new movies. They're not as scary as the first one.
Yeah.
But no, just go to the theater. I won't say turn your brain off. But just get ready to have a good time.
I agree.
That's what we want, guys. That's all we want.
Everyone listening, thank you so much for coming and listening to this. Just know that there's a lot more of this coverage as the months go on. And if you like it, by all means, share it with your people. Maybe you can even review us. We're going to be changing some stuff on the podcast. We're going to be called the Bombad Busters. There's going to be some movement. We're going to get some stuff made, mocked up, and I mean, this Slimer
lateral moves and stuff.
Yeah,
you guys will get it.
Slimer was a fun little design that I got to kind of work on today at work during some downtime. So the Ecto Countdown is real, and this is kind of the beginning of it. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, well, just know that come end of March, you might be happy to get some content. We're still going to cover Bad Batch. We're still
covering Bad Batch.
We're going to cover everything where we really are. And we're going to have different stuff. And maybe this schedule doesn't work out. But as of right now, this is kind of where we want to go. And hopefully you're excited. I know I'm excited too. And you've got an expert. You've got the one. Look at him. He's right there.
Oh,
a guide.
Yeah. Yes,
An
I'm the
Ecto
guy.
junkie.
Well, oh man,
You gotta change it. Change it
am
tonight.
Such an Ecto junkie.
Go
I'm
on
gonna have
Twitter.
to. Well,
You got
I
to.
still got my Ecto junkie. I still got my Ecto junkie board, but I'm gonna
Yes.
change it back. Yeah,
Good.
I'm gonna change it back. There you go. But anyway, listen, we love y'all. Share this with your friends. If you're not a Star Wars fan, if you're a Ghostbuster fan, coming and finding this, share it with your Ghostbuster friends.
Just use the
Things like that.
hashtag.
We talk about pop culture and all kinds of stuff.
Just use the hashtag Bombad makes me feel good. That's gonna be the hashtag.
Yes,
Hashtag
Bombad makes me feel good. Yes, that's what we say when we come. Yes.
Bombad makes me feel good.
Oh, Bombad makes me feel good.
Anyway.
Bombad makes me feel good. Anyway, we're gonna stop now because you're turning it off at this point.
Yeah, stay tuned for what's to come. Get excited, get hyped. We're excited for this. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be like when we did Indiana Jones of the summer, and when we did the Rise of Skywalker hype leading up to that movie. And I don't know. This is something I've always wanted to do, and I'm so happy that Jerry is going to be the guiding light through this, because there's a lot of things I'm not aware of, and I'm going to need a lot of help. So it's gonna be awesome.
We're about to be educated, kids. Here we go.
Yes, I'm Scotty Jarrow. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on all my social medias. I have a link tree. Click that. There should be all in the description below this, or even in the podcast feed. And Jerry, you mind plugging your stuff real quick?
Yeah, no, follow me at the Canon Junkie on pretty much everything. Look for me on Ionized Bastards. That's in our second season right now. And yeah, no, that kids, like and subscribe, review us on iTunes and all that kind of stuff,
And what else?
Apple Podcasts.
And Spotify.
You guys should also you should make sure to charge to heat up your proton colliders and stay bombad, Buster.